Are you tired of the typical libraries with conventional music that makes you feel meh? Introducing Leerecs.com, the music website made for and by minds like you. Our team are lifelong musicians and producers in love with music. Search the Leerecs music catalogs and find music with guaranteed originality. Mark the difference with music of signature at Leerecs.com.
One more shot at the end of the night. Get up and good, it'll be alright. Got a kitty in your sights. You'll never know unless you try.
This very special track. This is Hollywood. Yeah, it's a great name by James-Vogel, and we have him here today with us. Hi, Jake.
Hey, what's up?
I'm really glad to have you on. Jake is, I know Jake for decades, playing in New York and in and out around, and this is really cool what you're doing now. So tell us a little bit about you. Introduce yourself and your music.
Sure. I started recording music back in high school, and I recorded on a Tascam 4 track, and then eventually had bands in New York and in Stamford, Connecticut. And then I spent about 18 months learning mix engineering with a Grammy-winning mix engineer. And then I decided to go to law school and business school, and I came out with one album during that period of time. But my daughter was born in 2017. I took like 5 years off of music. I just focused on her. And last summer, I just was like, something's missing in my life. So I started, messing around with music, and the tools that are available nowadays are just incredible.
That's all right.
So I started using all these tools and producing in Cakewalk, and realized that despite all the years I spent, I didn't really know how to use a lot of the tools. So I started seeking out advice on YouTube and help, and I found a bunch of people that helped me. Most importantly, Bradley Deniston from Radium Records. He has a lot of information online on YouTube, on Instagram, and TikTok, and he shares so much. And he has live song reviews that I've participated in for the past 3 months, and I've submitted music and gotten his opinion. And he's multi-platinum, Grammy-nominated mix engineer. So it's really great advice. He also has these master classes you can pay for. They're not too expensive, like $27 or like $17 a month or something like that. So I've been doing that and really kind of upping my game in production-wise. And this particular song was a part of his song creation challenge. So it's a 14-day challenge to go through his lessons and create a song as you're going through the lessons, and to use his techniques in songwriting and finding sounds and getting everything together. And it was so much fun. And then he has other challenges to push you outside of your comfort zone, like challenges you to do TikTok reels or Instagram reels, like stuff that I never really spent much time doing. And it's been a lot of fun. I'm learning so much.
Yeah, I can tell. I mean, this track sounds really, really professional, and I'm really glad you came back to doing music. It's so important, right? You're missing you.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely a form of therapy, right? It's fun to do, but it's also a great outlet.
It is, and when you're a musician and you have that passion, if it is missing, it's like you're saying, if it is missing, there's a part of you that is missing too. And I'm so glad that you're learning.
For sure.
Yes, and I'm so glad that you're learning to produce yourself. What did you were saying? I really didn't know how to use these tools. what is that surprised you the most? What did you learn that made you think that, realize that?
Well, I produced a lot of songs, like over 600 songs in my life in various formats. And, I never really EQ'd anything properly or really understood what compression was doing. Sometimes I would throw it on something, but I had no idea how to tweak it, how to get it to do what I wanted it to do. So, now with YouTube compared to when I first tried to do a lot of in-the-box producing, there's so many tutorials from so many people, from, Andrew Sheps to, all the big mix engineers, if you follow mix engineers. And if you're a producer and you're producing music, but you want it to sound good, you should follow and learn from mix engineers, because there are just so many masters out there that are giving free advice online on how to make things sound good. It's just amazing. I got back into it. I didn't think I knew how to use the tools. I produced quite a few songs, probably 30 since July, and some of them with vocals and lyrics and some without. And, some of the stuff can sound good. I noticed that if you're using soft synths or soft instruments, they're going to sound pretty good. You don't really have to do a lot of tweaking because they're already built to sound good in a DAW. But if you're recording a vocal or you're recording direct in with a bass or guitars, sometimes you really need to kind of tweak it. And sometimes the tools that are available in the DAW, like the amp simulators, are not all that great. So it really depends on the tools that you have available, and figuring out how to use those tools so you can make everything sound as good as possible. But even if you have a great sounding guitar, if it's in the middle of the track and it's burying the vocal and it's competing with the vocal, then you're not doing the song a great service. So, I've had to learn how to use multi-band compression and dynamic EQ, how to do mid-side stuff so you push, that guitar track off to the side whenever the vocal is going. And then when the vocal, is done, then the guitar fills that space in the middle. There's just so much to learn. And I'm still learning.
You're so right. And there's so much advice and so much information for free and available. It's a matter of, I really want to put the time to learn, and also the being humble and thinking, well, even though we're making music for how long, like decades, but we don't know everything yet. Right?
No. And quite frankly, when I started back up, I started buying Waves plugins because I like Waves plugins and they're pretty affordable. And I got a bunch of them, way too many. And now Waves has a subscription. So if you're just starting out into producing, or you just want to learn how to produce, they have a subscription for $25 a month, and you have access not only to all of their plugins, their entire plugin library, but they have experts that have come up with different plugin chains. So if you want to have a particular producer's vocal chain, which is a chain is just a series of plugins, right, that are in a particular order with particular settings, and then you can tweak them from there. And literally Waves is just giving that to people to make music sound better. It's $25 a month. It's not free. I wish I would have waited to buy my plugins. Right. I would have saved a lot of money.
We also spend a lot of money, in studio time, and it doesn't matter. It's experience. It's experience. And so when you write, what instrument do you pick up? How does it come? How did the inspiration come?
It's been different throughout the years. It used to always be guitar-based. I would start with the guitar and I'd write a song with the guitar. Now, when I'm producing, I'm starting with drums. So I'm getting the drum beat down. And then generally I'll follow that with a bass. And then after the bass, I'll come up with a melody line. Normally that would be the vocals. So the three main elements in the songs I'm producing now are the drums, the bass, and the vocal. and everything else is kind of secondary, so it comes in later. And it's just kind of like trying to find the sounds that you want to use for those elements past the vocals, and then figuring out where you can bring them in and out of the mix, so you can create the dynamics. So not everything's the same. The intro is different from the first verse, is different from the first chorus, is different from the second verse. It's just building and changing and swelling and building tension and release, and just trying to have the instrumentation, grow and change to create interest throughout the course of a 2 to 3 minute long song.
That's right. That was so true, all of it. So, we talked about how you came back to producing music and creating songs. And is there any plans? Like, are you thinking what's gonna come next? What do you think is in the future?
Yeah. Well, working on that 14-day song production challenge, because I just finished that last week. That was really exciting, but I got my song to a certain point, and I don't think I could get it any better, but I think that there was room for it to get better based on other things that I hear in the marketplace. So I actually hired Bradley Dennison to mix that song, and hopefully he'll have it, before the summer starts, but we'll see. And because I just sonically, everything that he mixes sounds so good to me, and he's been such an influence on me and such a help in my journey. So we'll see what he's able to do with the track to make it better. And then I am working currently on probably 7 songs, and every 2 weeks I have a couple guys. I live in Peachtree City, Georgia. A couple guys come over that I've met since I moved here, and we have music night, and we kind of work on stuff together, and some of it's like their stuff and some of it's stuff that we're doing together. So I have a bunch of stuff that it's nice to work on something, to set it aside, to work on something else. I like to create, right? So it's always fun to create, but then sometimes you have to go back and be like, that song was pretty good. I do need to work on that some more. I'm trying to finish things, but it's kind of hard to finish things.
It is. But I think your heart is in the right place, and get a body of work together that you're satisfied with, right? That's the first. Yeah. I like it because it's the first step, and you're focused on finishing the first step. And so many times we're like, overwhelmed with everything that comes after. Well, okay, just finish the first step first. I like it.
Yeah. Well, I'm fortunate that I don't need, to make income from my music. It'd be nice if I did, but currently, I'm a stay-at-home dad for the most part, working part-time a little bit. Mm-hmm. Been spending way too much time on music when I should be doing other stuff. Like my house is destroyed.
Oh. Well, but, you get that time to do those things. Right now, you're completing something that is important to you, right? So.
Well, yeah, I mean it's addictive. You just want to keep working on it, keep improving it, keep making it better.
You're challenging yourself. You're trying to comparing yourself against yourself, trying to become the best version of you, right?
Absolutely. My goal this year is to produce a song that's better than anything I've produced before. That's my goal.
And you will do it.
And I think I'm on the way. So, I think I think it's always important to have a goal, a big goal.
That's right.
So then you can figure out the little steps that you have to take to obtain the big goal. That's right. And, now we're in May. I got more than half of the year left.
Well, I'll be really glad to hear, the final version once you get it mastered. And, I wish you that is everything that you expect it to be.
All right, thank you, man. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, I like it. I'm really glad that you're doing this music. I think it's very commendable. I love it. I mean, we need music, so it's tremendously important. Right.
Have you been working on any new tracks at all?
Oh, but I have, yes. always. But now this is your time. This is your time today.
Okay, all right. I'm sorry to put you on the spot.
Oh no, I like it. No, we'll talk. But listen, the last question that I'd like to ask you is something I always like to ask. If you had advice for your younger self, right? What would you say?
If I could advise my younger self, it depends on how far back I can go. But let's say I go back all the way to the beginning, right? If I could go all the way back to the beginning, I would tell my younger self to focus more on song structure. That's advice. Because song structure is changed a lot, but I never really paid attention to it. I just kind of would write a song and it'd be like verse, chorus, bridge, chorus. And you can do a lot with song structure. I think it's probably the most important aspect of any song is how it's, going to build, like thinking of how you're going to build the song before you even start building.
That's right.
I think that's really important.
It is so important. It is tremendously important because it's the foundation. So you can work on it, but if the foundation is not right, then we have a problem at the end. So it's very, very good advice. All right, Jake James-Vogel, it's fantastic to talk with you, know what you're doing, and listen to this song, Hollywood Could. Thank you.
All right, take care, Antonio.
All right, so we're going to enjoy a little bit more of Hollywood Could.
One more shot at the end of the night. Get up and good, it'll be alright. Got a kitty in your sights. You'll never know unless you try. Hold doors open. Don't stumble, don't fall. Gotta keep up.
Tired of the typical libraries with conventional music that makes you feel meh? Introducing Leerecs.com, the music website made for and by minds like you. Our team are lifelong musicians and producers in love with music. Search the Leerecs music catalogs and find music with guaranteed originality. Mark the difference with music of signature at Leerecs.com.